The cold water flooding into the packed, overturned SUV stirred Brian Henry to consciousness. Henry, 18, and 7 other teenagers were in a speeding SUV that hit a guardrail, flipped over and landed upside down in a pond Sunday morning. Henry and Asher Lewis, 15, were the only survivors of the crash in Warren, Ohio, that killed 6 of their friends, ranging in age from 14 to 19. Henry told ABC News affiliate WATV that he smacked his head on the dashboard and lost consciousness during the crash. It was the cold water that woke him up. First thing I thought was that I just wanted to give up, Henry told WATV. I was like, I can't go out like that. Henry tried to smash his way out of the car. It took me 6 or 7 times to bust the window, he said. But when he tried to swim out, he found himself entangled with seat belts. He had to take off his shoes and pants in order to escape, Henry said. As the SUV filled with water, Henry and Lewis sprinted a quarter of a mile to the nearest residence so they could call 911. I wasn't thinking about myself, Henry said. I was thinking about the other lives that were left behind to get them help. I didn't care if I was busted up. I just had to get help there first. Speed a factor in crash, investigators say. The 18s had packed into a Honda Passport, which seats 5 people, and some were likely not wearing seat belts, authorities said. It was the deadliest wreck in the history of Trumbull County, located in northeastern Ohio, and the worst traffic accident in the state in at least the past 3 years, Lieutenant Brian Holt of the Ohio State Highway Patrol said today. The Honda Passport was traveling at a high rate of speed Sunday morning when it veered to the left side of the road and flipped over the guardrail and into a 5-feet-deep pond, Holt said. Police did not say how fast the car was traveling, but the crash occurred in a 35 miles per hour zone, the lieutenant said. The Warren Fire Department responded in 2 minutes after the 911 call was placed with a dive team, he said, but it may have already been too late. They got in the water immediately and they did what they could do, Holt said. 5 teens were removed from the vehicle. 2 were taken to the hospital in cardiac arrest, where they died, authorities said. The 6th victim was located underneath the vehicle. The car was being driven by Lexus Kaysen, 19, who died in the crash. Investigators are trying to piece together what the teens were doing on the road Sunday morning, and how they gained access to the SUV. The owner of the car told authorities he had not given permission to any of the teens to use his vehicle and it was unclear if he knew any of them. Henry told WATV he was offered a ride home from a friend's house and did not know where the other 7 were coming from. He said he had warned Kaysen to slow down and said that they were almost home when the car veered off the road. Before I turned around and looked at her, the car had jerked out of control. I don't know if she did it on purpose or how fast she was going, he said. Henry and Lewis were treated for bruising and other injuries and are expected to be key to the investigation. They have been extremely cooperative, Holt said. I'm certain they are grieving, but they are cooperating. Medically speaking, they are going to be just fine. The other victims were identified as Andrew Bennett, 14, Brandon Murray, 17, and Kirkland Bender, Daylan Ray and Ramon White, all 15 years old. Warren City Schools Superintendent Michael Noter said grief counselors would be available at schools throughout the district today, where the victims attended classes. It was very desperately needed for those who needed to come in and let their feelings out, he said. Henry said the trauma of the accident is going to stay with him for the rest of his life. All of them were my boys that I was with, he said. They were younger, but they all looked up to me. We all looked out for everybody